Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Things I Don't Know How to Fix. Things I perhaps should not be fixing. So these GoPros apparently don't work. They're just, they've tried a new battery in them and stuff like that, but they don't charge or something like that. So I'm gonna have to go by feel, kind of like how I park. Just keep backing up till I feel something, then stop backing up. Okay, let's see, 42, 80, 90, nearly 100 milliamps of charge. That actually seems like it's charging, and that seems to be alive to me. Oh no. Have I got a case of this actually works? Okay, now it's down to 50. How do you even turn these things on? Is that button up the top? I'm imagining that thing there is supposed to... No, it did flash. Alright, how are you supposed to know when these things are even working? As soon as I take the power away, it just dies. Alright, let's have a look, see if anything's obviously broken internally. Looks like the battery's new. Just gonna scan it in a little closer. There we go. Yeah, that looks like a new battery. Let's test the voltages on that. So can I have voltage mode, please? Thank you. So we're looking at negative on the right, positive on the left. Stuck in the middle with you. .7. That is a bit below the threshold that I would consider acceptable for charging one of these. Usually about 2.75 is the cutoff for standard acceptable threshold before it sort of says, nope, I'm not going to charge anymore. So we're going to cheat a little bit here and give this a little bit of juice, just to see if we can't bootstrap things. Now let's see, what are you? You're 1100 milliamps, so 110 milliamp should be an acceptable sort of bootstrapping current. Now I need my multimeter probes to do this. Be careful, I don't want to needlessly stab myself today. So yeah, we will set it for 4 volts. We're going to go for 4 volts. And let's call it 110 milliamp, yeah. Wrong direction, Paul. Yeah, 100, fine. Okay. If we hold it on there for around about 1,000 hours, it should be just fine. No. So stick that in there and that in there. And as you can see, we are feeding it 100 milliamps. Now, of course, I've current limited this so that we don't go anything excessive, and it's also voltage limited, so it will eventually start tapering off in the current as it approaches 4 volts. But we're not going to wait till that long. Even though it's saying 3.16, whatever at the moment, that's actually the voltage out of the power supply, not really what the voltage of the cell is. To find out what the voltage of the cell is, we have to disconnect the power, wait a second, sample then see what keep slipping. Yeah, and then sample and then reapply power if we need to. So we're just going to hold it here for a little bit, perhaps until it gets to 3.3, 3.4, and that might give it just enough sort of jump start current that we need. I don't strongly recommend doing this, but it is useful if you have a battery that's sagged a bit below its threshold voltage. I'm imagining that internally in the GoPro they've probably just simply got something like an probably an SOT 23.5 LiPo controller, something from Linear or maybe Microchip, and they typically have a built-in 2.75, 2.8 threshold cutoff. Mr. Magno, when they're below the threshold cutoff, I prefer not to, because you can do a little bit of damage. Once it gets above 2.75, I prefer about 2.85 cell voltage unloaded. Then yeah, sure, you can start putting in 1C or at least half C current. But below that, I prefer not to. Hey, Fran. Hey, Rilla's here. GD, PR, Travis. Gives me something to do while I'm waiting. Okay, so we're at 3.34. We'll see if that holds. Just going to put my multimeter probes back on. If I've got this backwards, it doesn't matter. Okay, seriously? Okay, so we're at 3.2. Be interesting to see if the charge unit responds better now. Probably won't. Okay, it's giving me 0 at the moment. Really? You want the lid closed? Surely not. Yep, you are doing nothing. Nada zilcho. Okay, let's try a different cable just in case it's something dumb. Because something dumb is sort of the mantra of my life. Okay, bad cable. We've got 1 amp charge on it now. Alright. Hey, Studio 54, thank you. Thank you very much. How long ago did you do that? Did you get that this afternoon, did you? Sort of... If you did just buy it now, it hasn't yet quite come through on my side, but that's okay. I also have a Hero 4. Actually, are these GoPros or are they Heroes? Is there a difference? Oh yeah, the GoPro Heroes, got it. Panzershock, look, I mean, this is just what the customer gave to me. They said, here, can you try and revive these? Who am I to decide which ones are worth it? Oh, 2 days ago. Oh, alright, yeah, I did see that come through. You had me thinking there was something that I completely missed. Oh. It seems that works. It seems like it was just a bad cable and a battery that had gone too flat on that one. And it's recording, isn't it? Okay, someone going to tell me that worked? Alright, so bad cable, probably, and excessively low battery. What about this one? Top button is recording, front button is on off for switching functions. Okay. Probably helpful if I read the instruction manuals, eh? And this one has completely collapsed. There is absolutely no voltage in this one. Unless the new battery... Okay, this looks like a third-party battery. Do not disassemble, do not dispose of in fire, and do not store over 60. Ah. But you're showing me no voltage. And when you show me no voltage, you compel me to tear open the pack and find out what's going on. A little bit of heat wouldn't go astray on this. Not a huge amount, but just a little. Ach, niemand. We've torn the crucial parts. We're doomed. I'm strongly suspecting it's just a jacked up cell. The original one probably did die, and so they bought this one, but this one's dead right from the outset. That would be my guesstimate. Hey.
He just wanted to see you.
Hello, Mo. Momo. Yeah, he's not impressed. Well, big sticker and... Oh, what the hell? What kind of construction is this? So I've got a tab in here. Let's see if I can short out the positive and the external ground. Yeah, I'm just trying to work out what the construction method is here. Okay, we're getting somewhere. I'm going to use plastic spudger. because I'm not like Jason Vilmer, who loves to use metal tweezers on all his iPhone repairs, giving us all PTSD issues. Thank you very much, Jason. You're a big jerk. Alright. Wow, this doesn't even seem to have... Okay, so the external is probably ground, or I don't know. And so this here protects that tab from touching. It's the sort of thing where if it does a Chrissy Hines to vinyls, it'll die. Arnold G, enjoy the clean MEing. Oh, I've actually got a proper GoPro. Okay, how did they do this? I'm gonna guess that this unit is assembled first and then they spot weld it. Alright, let's see if I've got a voltage across those two terminals. That one there and this one over here. Hey, Infomedia. I'll try desperately not to destroy the battery. Can't promise anything. Okay, so we've got 2.38, which again is below the threshold. So we can pump that up. We might have some luck. We'll do the same thing, we'll use the same settings. I do happen to have these little hooks that might do the trick for this particular task. I kind of... Ooh, I just realised, I don't know. Okay, so this is negative. The only trouble I have with these hooks is that when you're looking at them under the microscope, the shaft makes you think that they're ground, but in this one it's actually positive. Would have been better if the hook shafts were the colour you want. Okay, yeah, the colour of the polarity you're seeking. Okay, take it easy, Paul. See what happens. Let's see if this thing goes up in flames. See ya, Crafts. Tinker McMahon, the reason why I have reading with the case off is because I am reading the actual cell terminals, whereas with the case on, I'm reading what is coming out of this after the circuit board. The circuit board has low voltage cutout protection, over voltage cutout protection, over current cutout protection, things like that. Greg, what? Dave mentioned Flex Board View, but not by name. That's disappointing. What was he trying to say? Yeah, Keith, these are customer GoPros. Like, they were just handed to me this afternoon. They said they don't work and they'd like to try and get them to work. Let's see if we've got a voltage reading now. There we are. We got voltage now. So we've already gone past the threshold required to make it consider it worthy of being charging. My guess is, like I said, this is probably some sort of old stock, or refurbished or whatever stock, and chances are it likely ended up in the customer's hands, but it was already flat. We'll just give it a little bit longer so we've got a bit more of a buffer. Okay, let's stop that. There we go. Handy having those little tiny grips. We kind of need to put this back together. Struth. Tearing things down is generally easier than putting them back together. Let's see, Greg. Well, his co-host is mentioning creating circuit boards, and Dave mentioned Lewis used software design. Oh, right. Okay, cool. Cool. That's neat. I just got to capitalize on that a little more. I'm not making myself rich enough. More richness required. Okay, this is not ideal, but let me have a look inside here. The inside is plastic, so I can get away with what I'm about to do. If there was a metal frame in there, I'd abstain from dropping this in. Oh, you lousy little... Wait. What kind of power connector are you? Oh, you are mini USB. 176 milliamps, 177. Okay, that's record, right? This is on off. Tinkerman, usually if the cell is physically looking problematic, then it's a bad start. When you're starting at a low voltage, it's not so much problem. The biggest time that you often get explosion effects is when people overcharge either beyond the 4 volt, 4.2 volt or 4.1 volt, or they charge at an excessively high rate. Now, it doesn't tend to affect these packages too much because a lot of these have safety boards in them. They've got these little circuit boards like with this one that has a built-in controller that limits that kind of thing. It still can happen, but if you get a faulty controller board, but not as likely. Most of the classic sort of lipo fire situations that we used to see were with things like model aircraft batteries, which have no safety boards on them. They're just lipos connected straight to the charger, no protection circuitry, nothing. It's just straight from the tabs to the charger. And so you relied on the charger to do its job properly, and also hoped that the pack was appropriately balanced so that when you did charge up, you didn't push one cell beyond the voltage limits. Okay, so these are all... Oh, these aren't too... This one here is a little bit physically damaged. I've got way too many lipos in this house. I seem to have a disease that inhibits me from disposing of them. Ish. Like say these ones here, these are puffy, but these are puffy because they dropped down too low, or they had a perforation in the cell or something like that. There's a difference between being puffy from low voltage or low charge for too long versus puffy from charging too much. The too much charging puffy is the dangerous one. This one here is fairly safe. You puncture that cell, it's probably not going to do much. Unfortunately, I'm not willing to quite do that in here because this room is about the most difficult room to get out of the house in a hurry. So I would probably die if this started catching on fire. And I don't really feel like dying tonight. I'll die another day. Okay. This cell has also been damaged. This has been shear damaged. What happens is when you drop a cell phone, or anything for that matter, and I'm just trying to see if I can get it to show up. You can see there's all crisscross lines on there. And the bottom of the pack is bonded to the chassis, but the top of the pack is allowed to shift, so it kind of like slides off like a deck of cards. And that causes damage on them as well. Usually it reduces the cell capacity more than anything else. Hey Andrew. Right. I really should just get a bigger sand pit for that stuff. Okay, we're stuck on 180 milliamps on this, so I don't feel like this is actually charging. So there may be an additional fault with this. Or maybe the battery is just genuinely cuck. I'm guessing this should just fire up. Let's try it without the battery in it. No red light in the front equals no charging. Where would the red light show up on this one? Is there an LED? Is that the LED for it? I suppose I should have done a little bit of research before I dived into this thing. No, they didn't tell me anything really. This looks like a fairly new battery. Left of the display on the front, left of the... Oh, so like one of these little things here, I'm guessing. So you're saying one of these is an LED? Tinkerman, thank you very much for the 20. Oh, much appreciated. Very much. Well, hopefully I haven't misled you too much. Red light's supposed to be at the top? Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. Alright, so I guess now the question is, how the heck do you disassemble this thing? What is that? Okay, that's going to be a setup button. It's LCD panel. See, they decided to get sneaky as the models went on. It made it harder to find out how to disassemble. Pin contacts look fine. SD seems fine. Although that says USB there, is that actually the charge port? I'm guessing so. There really isn't any other option. There seems to be a tear here. What's that from? So the way it seems is there's really only the top side that I can take it from. I can see a screw under there. Someone's already had a go at it, I think. Yeah, someone's already tried popping this off. This button come out separately. Okay, man, Tinkerman. Have a good night. No, that can't be. I fix it. Yeah, Catherine, you're kind of sucking the joy out of. You're sucking the joy out of it. It's, you're supposed to let me do this myself. You're just a bunch of joy thieves, aren't you? It's like, hey, Paul's going to try and work out how to do the GoPro himself. Let's show him how to do it before he works it out. Oh no, you are being helpful. I'm just being... Ah, so that's what they're doing. No wonder it feels a bit funky. Cheating little SOBs. They're going to stick sticky stuff under there. Good thing I've got a microscope, eh? That's cheating. Seems to be a little bit stubborn just there. No apparent reason other than just maybe it's just locked in there with a latch. There we go. By the way, that Lenovo machine from earlier today, the hard drive on it was also quite problematic. While it didn't have a tremendous number of bad sectors on it, it was very quickly heading that way. I was getting around about only about 10 or 20 megabyte a second on average for the transfer. Okay, you are ever so fractionally in the way that it makes me think that you're gonna... that screw is gonna collide with this edge just to make me cry. You have to come up from this side, or else you're not going to release. almost certain that screw's going to collide. Oh, just slipped past it. Unless they use this as a natural locking mechanism. Yeah. So some various grounding tabs in there. Jeez, it's as bad as a freaking iPhone watch. And they have humans handle this? Jeez. Yeah, imagine assembling these things in a factory indeed. I can think of simpler designs. I can think of simpler ways that make things a lot easier overall. Just trying to work out if this... It looks like it's just an entrapment. Yeah, there we go. The trouble is I don't want to yank on those cables. Obviously that's kind of like death to all. Barrier West, that's pretty crazy. Yet sadly, oh, so we've got the display module there. Oh, son of a gun. Okay, those flexes have already come out by the looks of it. Yeah, they've come out. Ah. So we might just, yeah, exercise that one out. This better not be a glue scenario. Green, red wire. What? Wait, what? Okay, it looks like I have to actually... Yeah, I'm gonna have to get rid of this camera assembly. Here comes the fun. The extra fun's going to be when I've got to put it back together. And I go, I have no memory of this screw. Oh great, we're just exposing the sensor. Fantastic. It's the last thing I wanted to do. That's kind of a bit, no offense, but it's kind of a bit silly that one of the first deconstruction steps ends up exposing the whole sensor. But this looks like actually I can pop this off, so maybe I didn't have to. I'll put that somewhere safe. Really do not like the scenario where you do that sort of thing. I've got no real choice at this point. I have to go all the way through because I've got to get these reconnected. So I'm kind of committed now. Hey Daniel. Oh, I love these mystery scenarios. It's like you got to get that screw off, but you can't get the screw off unless you get there. Oh, come on. Oh. Alright, fine. Be like that. Annoying little cantankerous pit of screws. This is where you're stuck underwater and you... Oh wow, that is seriously hairy. That's worse than my back. Hey, at least we got the older one to charge. No. I've seen the design on the older units where they have the interconnect between the circuit boards is actually edge soldered bars. That's just crazy. just can't see a way out. Seriously, how are you supposed to get to this screw? What is this? This is going to be a Squid Game now? You have 30 seconds to remove the screw. Come on, who designed that? Really? Come on. Hey, Richard Moore. I mean, oh gee. Well, looks like they're completely disconnected now. I get a feeling that's should able to be yanked out. And the pressure level says, nay, thou shalt not do that. Leon, camera for the overhead, do you mean the microscope or the actual overhead? Because I do have an overhead camera as well. Anyway, the microscope one is a Sony sensor thingamajig. And my overhead one is a... what are you? I keep forgetting. Panasonic 4K? Panasonic 4K, I think. Damn it. VX1. Panasonic 4K VX1. Yeah, that's what it is. And they both get captured in by the AER 4-port HDMI capture card. Yeah, this is microscope view. And Paul can't focus. There we go. Yeah, I'm cheating and looking at the iFixit guide, and it's a load of bull. This is what I hate about a lot of the iFix guides, is that we'll come up to this scenario that we're looking at right now, and they just like conveniently point to this and say remove this screw, and then the next picture it's removed. They don't tell you just how. So the more I do this, the more it's putting tension onto this, and I don't really want to, because I'm worried that the amount of tension it's putting onto that, or pressing down on the circuit board here, could be enough to cause damage. You're just a clip off, I think. Well, that's it, I fucked it. I tore the button. Fortunately I didn't tear the inner lines, I've torn the ground, so I'm gonna have to fix that now. Far out. Yay. Yeah, that's fortunately I've torn the ground plane, but it's still, that's really naughty of me. Nah. This better be non-repairable now. I should have known that was going to happen. I blame the engineers. But seriously, it's like, how am I supposed to get that post off? All this just so I can even see if I can get it to charge. There are 2 screws at the front side now. Yes, Mr. Mac, it was a GoPro. It was being the operative word, correct. So I've gotten rid of that. I've got rid of that. Can you... Can't seem to remove this. It doesn't appear to be... The screw's behind... see, it's screwed behind the circuit board. Hey, Jason. Loosen the screw and unwind the post. Unfortunately, unwinding the post will tend to still apply the pressure on the circuit board. And then worse, it may have a... look at that. That's probably our culprit anyway. See how that battery is all busted up? That'll probably be why it's not charging. What I can't get is how did they actually assemble this in the first place? So that's the trick. I mean, surely they are not trying to make this excessively difficult for themselves to assemble. So what am I missing? And does this rotate? It really doesn't, because I can see the fat screw there and a fat screw there. This camera here is a webcam. It's the only webcam I've got in operation here now. No, iFix it actually doesn't. Let me show you. And it's hidden by the front flange of the camera lens on the front. Okay, where are we? Okay, here we go. Let's just go to schematics. So here we go. They say remove this screw. You see, you got the screw there, and they point to this one very conveniently and say, magically, we've removed the screw. We didn't tell you how the heck we did it, but we removed it, and we'll let you work out how the hell to do that. It's like, remove the 3/8mm Phillips screws, securing the... So, brilliant. Brilliant. How'd you guys do it? Huh? What'd you do? Use your hacksaw? Hacksaw to chop the head off that screw? I think you did. Because you're not willing to show how you did it. Something sus. I mean, yeah, it's a good guide overall. I mean, most iFixit guides are great. But every now and then you do encounter these scenarios where it's like they need to just simply say, and magic was involved. Assembly looks like rotated in that picture. You mean sort of like they rotate the lens assembly? Yeah, that's not happening. I'm not able to remove the spacer, unfortunately. Because all that's going to happen is if I rotate that spacer, like if I stick something in here and rotate that spacer, it's still going to generate, so I can't go any lower on that side. And as you can see, as I rotate, the other side of it is under here somewhere. And that's not removable because that is part of the molding. You can see there's it's not a separate removable item. I mean, there's got to be a way. But this now just feels like one of those puzzle solver videos. Yeah. I suppose the question is this a separate assembly? I see how there's a seam line here. Maybe that's what it is. Although it does kind of feel more like it's just ultrasonically welded seam line thing. And if I look through, nah mate, that ain't happening. They probably just shaved off the plastic, the little bastards. Yeah, they probably went along and got the X-Acto knife and went shoom, 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 and shaved it off. I'm going to have a look at their high quality picture and see if we can see that. I'm pretty bloody sure they have, actually. The lying little... Yeah, it's hard to say. The angle isn't so good. They got nice clean fingernails, I'll give them that. This here, yeah, you could probably try spin the camera, the lens out, but I wouldn't want to try. That's likely set in there for focal reasons. And it just shouldn't be that bloody hard, should it now? GoPro Hero, yeah, it's like you need to be a hero to... Oh, shite. Now the thing is, I don't know whether this is a rotate and lock assembly. I don't think it is, because I tried rotating it. It just feels more like a press latch assembly. Yeah, where you simply push it over and it pops in. Yeah, it is, yeah. It's a... okay. Doesn't really get us anywhere there. So congratulations, you've reached the next step of going nowhere. And that is, yeah, that's been pushed in, spun into the required distance and glued for focus. You can slide the circuit board out. I mean, sliding the circuit board out isn't going to be a problem, but unless you mean the entire assembly here. I am kind of curious how they... oh god, I see how the... oh god. What the living daylights? They basically have... yeah, I hope it's not really what I'm seeing. It's almost like the... oh no, here we go, here we go, here we go. Okay, so this is the steps that they should have been listing. Okay, it's been locked in by that. So just far out. You lousy little SOBs, honestly. There we go, there we go. Yes! There we are. Okay, I fix it. Fix up your... Whoever submitted that one. Fix up your guide, because your guide is actually goes about things completely the wrong way. And there are people who are probably going to break that lens assembly trying to do that fix. Alright. Okay, so that was the... Okay, so what I was looking at was all of this overfill area and thinking that they had just sort of like glued the entire assembly to the chassis. Well, I've got some work ahead of me though. I actually will now remove this board. It's not required for the charging, I don't think. No thanks to iFixit. Actually, I'm not really actually yelling at iFixit themselves directly. I'm more just mouthing off about whoever created that guide. Okay, where's the damn battery come into this? I'm guessing that there... Okay, that there is the battery assembly, which is what I butchered the home button with, or that on-off button. Where did that go? Went into here. Oh, great. I'm very fast getting to the point of saying this is a no fix, and not because I almost destroyed that button flex, but simply because we've got no board views, no schematics, and we have to find the fault somewhere between here and here. So your battery power's over here, but your charging's way over the other side here. And none of these chips... Yeah, you don't know which one's going to be the charge controller. I know. It sounds like I'm giving up a bit easy, and I probably am. I did look for a board view and schematic, but there was nothing listed that I could find. But yeah, I'd say the clock battery is completely cactus, so let's measure the voltage on that. It may be because of that, it's not even bothering to do anything. Though you would think that the charging side of it would be sufficiently independent. Apparently not. Yeah, am I measuring the right things there, Paul? I think I am. Yep, I was measuring the right things. So we've got that there, and this. Well, polarity is probably wrong. I always forget on button cells it's opposite to what I'm expecting. 187 millivolts, that's really not much chop at all. That's a very dead little cell. I will not deny I am slightly perplexed by this connector. It's it's actually terrifying me a little bit. It's like, okay, I'm not really familiar with you. I'm trying to figure out how to disassemble you. I mean, disassembly through destructive means is dead easy. But doing it properly, now there's another trick. I gotta say, the nice high flex, probably silicon wire. It feels like I've got to push it, slide it. Oh wow, it dents that plastic. Yeah, it feels like it's got to drop and then slide back. I don't know. Lift up at wire end. See, now I've got someone saying push it in, another person saying lift up at wire end. Now that really is... I'm more inclined to say it lifts from the front. Yep, and I was right. It lifts from the front. Maybe it lifts from both, I don't know. But from the front it felt better. It felt more natural. The 4-port capture card is Konya Aya, or whatever it is. Yeah, let me get the box for it. Always forget. AJA is the brand name. There we go. That's it there. www.aja.com. Oops. So now, for me, looking around here, my first impression would be that would actually be the charge controller. I know it seems wrong, but I seem to have a recollection of CA5 coding on a SOT23.5 being the charge controller, but for all I know, it's this ZTT thingy. Actually, how many damn pins have they got in this? Okay, no. Actually, I might not be that far off because it's there and there. Yeah, I get a feeling that might be the charge controller. Go find my charge controllers that I had. The only trouble is that the linear ones versus the microchip ones have different connections. ICs. I'm not sure which ones I've got in stock here. I'm just going to get the ones that I have got and compare. Way too many chips of random type here. MCP 164? No, that's a boost regulator. Ew, rubber bands have decomposed into this. Oh, that's disgusting. MCP 73113 charge controller, battery, single cell, 4.2. Yeah. Except these are DFN ones. Damn it, Paul. What? I have no recollection of buying this chip. Must have been one of those days I was doing things I shouldn't be doing. Okay, I'm just going to keep digging through the box of Lost Souls. LTC 4150, is this you? No, you're a gas gauge, that's right. MCP 3021, no, it's an analog digital converter. High side power switches, power monitors, MCP 73. Was MCP 73113? Nope. I'll find it, just gotta give me some time. I used to sell these with... I used to make single cell battery chargers way back with the model aircraft. Crikey, I have got a whole bunch of high precision reference chips here that I never used. I feel bad about that. Someone sent these to me. They're high precision voltage references. And yeah, I just never put them to use. It was very nice of him to send them to me. They're very simple ones. Damn it. Okay, let's put them back in the box and now have a look. Op amp. Solid state switch, no good for anything. 7-volt VHC1G buffer. Almost useless chip. Synchronous boost regulator, nope. Oh, this is driving me mad. I'm actually going to have to bring up my bring up my Eagle board so that I can see what chip it was that I was using. Damn it. What's the part number of the chip? The heat paste on? Ah, that'll be... Oh, this thing here. Don't know. Certainly, that'd be probably an HDMI bridge chip or HDMI something chip, I guess would be. Yeah. 1434DUJ. I'm pretty sure that'll be an HDMI chip. Something to do with it. So what do I got here? I got the Max 6350 CSA Plus. Let's have a look at the slight detour. And these have been sitting and rotting in my storage for the good part of a decade now. Holy crap, there's a bunch of them. What is it? Max 63... What did I say? Max 6350 CSA Plus. I've got to find out what this is. I've got a whole bunch of variations of them. Oh, Mr. Mac. Okay, cool. Yeah, these are still expensive. They're like $20 a piece. Voltage reference. 0.02%, 1 ppm a degree centigrade. So what have we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yeah, I've got $150 worth. Sorry, $200 worth of chips there. And I've got 2, 3, 4. These are more chips of some sort. Not those. Yeah, 4 of those. So, geez, $800 worth of chips that I can't even do anything with. It's kind of sad how that goes. Anyway, I'm just waffling, I'm sorry. That was the Maxim ones, and then I also got a bunch of linear ones. The linear ones were better overall, I think. These are the 4146A CS8. I used them for referencing when I was doing pico amp type situations. Anyway, crap on a cracker, eh? I guess the first question is, can I get rid of... That's going to be difficult to get that off, because we've got this underfilled BGA chip under there. So and that is not going to be an easy thing to remove. We'll take the standoff off. Oh, crikey. Sorry, folks. There we go. So we'll get the standoff away. I would say the first thing to do here is to pickle it with some leaded solder. That'll help drop the... Oh, gross. That is disgusting, Paul. Showing your... Oh, oops, it just broke my tip off. I've got 50 lattice ECP55G85Fs. I actually don't know what those are, but being a lattice chip, I know that's going to be expensive. You can almost buy a car with them. Let's assume you can find someone who'll buy them. That's the trouble. I got fluff on my nose somewhere. That itself is spot welded, but the assembly onto the board is not spot welded. So you buy these as a pre-spot welded unit. And then you solder them to your board. But you got to do it really quick, because otherwise what happens is they do have a tendency to rupture. And sometimes I do wonder with these manufacturers if they kind of muck that up. Gee, I don't know if I'm game enough to do this. They say I want to hot air it, but I don't think I'm brave enough. Hey Vogon. I could try put my knife under it. I'm just looking for my hold board. There's a whole lot of stuff around there that does not want me to hot air. This is not full hot air, this is only 250. So what it does, it gives the soldering iron a chance to get some, there we go. And that is called assistive heating. Well, I don't know what it's really called, but that's what I call it. Oh, thanks, Arnold G. I'm just looking now at the images. Oh, thanks, Mr. Mick. And I was wrong about that chip. That's a single 2-input positive NAND gate. Oh well, my bad. Wish the colouring they used had been more black and white would be nice, thank you. Not flipping green and white and whatever. On semiconductor unknown voltage regulator. Okay, Barry, take care. Alright, well, that doesn't solve diddly squat for us. Doesn't solve diddly squat at all. Mind you, with that removed, I'm kind of curious whether it might function now. Unfortunately, the cable is a wee bit small. Sorry, I know it's out of focus. Remember, it's out of focus for me too. Okay. I don't have a super cap or any other replacement part that I can use for that particular point, so still at 180 milliamp. Alright, we're going to bring out the gym cam and see where that heat is, or where that 180 milliamp is going. Let's hope the gym cam's got some juice. So it's just sort of in around about here, which is pretty much where the CPU or whatever it is, the processor is. It's got 2 points there that it's flicking back and forth between. And if I had to guess, I would say that second one is actually potentially a battery charger. Where is that second one? It's between... It's this one here. We're staying steady at 180, which is very strange. Disconnect the power. Just flick back to here and see if I can find that. Okay, it's this one here, 5 amp power stage. Well, that doesn't mean a hell of a lot, unfortunately. For all I know, that's just a, well, could be just a MOSFET. AMS AS3239, what? AMS AS3729. AS. Man, we ain't got much on that. Drats. Crikey. Unknown power management chip, yeah, typical. Yeah, AS3729. So we really don't know what on earth is going on. How normal. What I will do, well, that's a bit tight for me to get into that. I was going to say I would try and tap into those voltages and see what's going on. If we're lucky, these here might be the test pads for it. So I'll put the battery back in. We'll find out. We'll just put the multimeter probes on there, and if we get a voltage, then we know actually it is. Diddly flippity squat. Okay, I'll try it from this angle. This is going to be a bit tricky. We're just stabbing in blind here. Alright, so we've got... That's weird, the voltage is backwards. That is actually very strange. Okay, so we've got minus 3 volts. Well, that is strange. Could it be that this battery that they put in was reverse polarized? Let's have a look. Could be that what killed it? seems a bit strange. Did someone install that cell backwards? Yeah, okay, well that, unless my meters are backwards, no, it seems like, so the voltage coming out of on that connector is minus 3 volts. Now I'm kind of curious, if I put the USB charge on, I might see something coming out of that end. See the link. AMS documents. Oh right, 5 amp power stage. Cool. Awesome that you found that. Thank you for that. I'm just going to take this next step and see what, if we've got any sort of voltage happening over here. Let's stop the damn thing drifting. Nothing at all there. Check the battery of the other GoPro. I don't have another one of these ones. Kind of a bit bizarre. Alright, so it does come off 3 volts according to the header here. That's not to say that that header is incorrect. What I need to do is find a photo of a GoPro... What is this? GoPro thingamajig 4? Hero 4 battery, and see if it has the same on the top. GoPro Hero 4 battery. Images. Finding it very difficult to find something that is close enough that I can see the terminals. Okay, so this one's got positive on the right, and that is what we have. But that doesn't mean anything. I want to see an original. Okay, battery on the right. Yeah, that seems to be correct. Well, that's kind of weird. It's kind of weird that that cable... I guess it doesn't really matter on the coloring, it's just that it would be strange if it, you know, defied convention. Said it wouldn't be the first time, but it's still strange. I have an original battery in my hand and the polarity is correct to the one you have. That's really bizarre. Okay. So basically they went along and they defied convention, as it were. And I hate it when they do that sort of stuff. They probably went, well, we don't really care. And just check continuity ground. Okay, so that one's ground, and yeah, sure enough, it's the red one that goes to ground. That's peculiar. It's just cabled differently. That's very strange. I hate it when they do stuff like that because, yeah, it really does throw you. And it's like, for what? What good reason did they do that other than maybe to make you blow up things? Well, the only thing at this point that I can actually try and fix is to get another one of those cells, replace it. Yeah, one of these little memory retention cable cells. Get one of those, replace it, see if it comes to life. And then, of course, I've got the joyous task of rectifying my mistake on here, where I tore that. That was a big boo-boo. Big boo-boo. I say it hasn't torn all the way through. Like I said, we basically just shredded up the ground plane. But it's still, that's a real, how can I say, a real cockeye mistake. It's not the sort of thing I should be doing, and yet I did do it. I'm rather angry at myself for that. Still, if it needs repairing, probably not the worst thing I've had to repair. I mean, personally, iPhone Touch ID buttons, they're far worse. I think the bigger issue would just simply being the access to this. Yeah, another millimeter and I would have started to become in trouble, yeah. So I'm trying to work out where the damn... oh, right, it's over here. Any Miller, yeah, I'm running Ubuntu 20 or whatever it is. Whatever's reasonably recent. Need something to just prop that up. I don't know which one's ground. I just want to see if I can test that the button press works. It's like, that's all very well and dreamy, Paul, if you can actually hold the... ah, forget it, I can't do that. Oh well. Yeah, look, there's basically nothing much I can do at this point now until I get a replacement one of those cells. I'll get it from Element 14 or something. I'm sure I'll be able to find one. Mind you, we'll probably find that there's something else wrong with this board intrinsically and can't actually fix it. But yeah, we'll give it a shot. We'll give it a shot. And then the greater challenge will be reassembling it and getting it correct. That's going to be a real fun thing to do. Just put this back on since I know I... Great. Can't even remember which way that went. Could be worse, could be an iPad board, a pad board like I did a few weeks ago. What happened there? I mean, apart from the fact that it's an iPad. So let's see if there's any bias on these. Doesn't seem to be. I think it goes this way. Yeah, that's right. It goes that way. And then they're just... three clips. Good. Oh. Hey, switch over. Oh, it was like I had a magnet interfering with that for a second then. Alrighty. Well, it seems this may be functional and recording. Which button was the on-off button again? That one. Yeah, so that one works at least. It looks pretty beaten up, but it seems to work. Which is a whole lot more than what this one does. Damn it, battery won't fit in there. Let this be a reminder to you all not to send me things that I don't know how to fix. Because chances are, I won't fix it. I'll break it. Worse than it was before. Alright, I think that's the end of the night for me. Let's see, what is it? Yep, 2 o'clock in the morning. Definitely time for me to wrap it up. Alright, I'm out of here. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Till then, you'll take care.